All right, everyone, well, we'll get started. Thank you all for joining the Junior Golf Pathway Breakout Room. My name is Jessie Mercer. I am Coordinator Junior Performance. So this Junior Golf Pathway is something I've been involved in now for the last year, along with Reggie here as well from our office, Dr. Peter Davis, who will be joining us, and a number of you on this call as well have been involved. So really excited about this new initiative. For some of you, this is a new thing that you may not have ever heard of before, but we hope you hear a lot more of it. So we're gonna just start kind of from the very beginning, let you know kind of how we got here, and then take you through the tool that is the new Junior Golf Pathway website. So I'm gonna share my screen here. So the Junior Golf Pathway, in its essence, is a tool to make sure junior golfers are on course to reach their highest potential. So no matter what that is, if that's playing on the PGA Tour, if that's playing a one-day club event, if that's whatever that is, that they have the tools in order to reach that. So why we created it? So here's Dr. Peter Davis. So Dr. Peter Davis did a excuse me, an overview, a review of junior golf here in Ontario a couple years ago, maybe 2 summers ago now. And, I think we all kind of knew these things. There's so many great things happening in Ontario, whether that's coaching, whether that's competitions with our number of junior tours we have. We have athletes achieving success, but what was noticed was that there wasn't a clear path of how to achieve that. Everyone was doing it maybe a little differently. There were some similarities, but there wasn't a clear path. Mike Kelly used to use the example all the time. If you walked into 10 different pro shops, asked 10 different pros, how do I get my kid from day one onto tour? You get 10 different answers. Not that all those answers are wrong or bad, but they're different answers. And we want to be able to provide one answer, a clear path for junior golfers in Ontario. So Peter can talk to it a little bit, but what he found was, there was no clear path. There was lots of information out there. It was often word of mouth. It was talking to other parents who have been through the system, and rather than, word of mouth rather than concrete information. Tons of great stuff out there. It's just a matter of bringing it all together. So through this, facilitated by Golf Ontario, but with all industry partners, including PGA of Canada professionals, both instructors and coaches, tour operators from our number of junior tours, owners and operators at the golf course side, created the framework for Ontario's Junior Golf Pathway. So this is Ontario's Junior Golf Pathway on one page. It's a little overwhelming, but essentially what this was all of the tours and the coaches coming together and saying, okay, let's figure out this in 3 different ways. So we have, kind of 4 categories. Athlete benchmarks. What's the athlete doing? Training environment. What kinds of coaching, what kinds of training are they doing at this level? Talent ID initiatives. This would be a Golf Ontario thing, from camps, from regional camps to Team Ontario. What's happening along the line from a talent identification standpoint. And then competitions. What type of competitions? So there was subgroups with all 4 of these, kind of determining what went along the path and what was involved in moving each athlete to the next level. And this will be our kind of our framework and our script as we move forward and put in programs and put coaches together and all that. So you can see, when they start out, this is also a competitive pathway. So we're assuming that, the entry point to this, if they've probably done some sort of participation camp, they've probably already been to a golf course, and they're now taking that next step and saying, you know what, I want to play a competition. And this is where this pathway begins, and it ends, on those next steps: NCAA athletics, Ontario University athletics, or in this case of some turning professional. So this was the framework, what caused us, and then, housing it all in one place. So we're building this juniorgolfpathway.ca website. And I don't know if any of you have had a chance to look at it, but I'm just going to go through some of the main tools on that website that were created from this framework. So on the website, this is just a screenshot, but what was important on the website to the working group and representing Ontario Golf, we needed a place to highlight our athletes' success. So we have a number of athletes in Ontario competing at numerous levels. We want to be able to recognize everyone on their achievements. So if that's winning a one-day event, maybe they won 3 one-day events in a row on the Play Junior Golf Tour in Ottawa, we can recognize that athlete. And then they won an NCAA tournament. We can recognize everyone in Ontario. It's important to be able to find coaches. So there's so many great coaches out there, but a tool to allow these athletes to be able to actually find the coach that's best for them, find the coach that they need in that level of their development. Highlight our junior tours. Again, so many great junior tours, so many great competitions, and helping those athletes find the competition that's best for them, promote those competitions, and then move along the path and find different competitions as they increase their development. And then also a tool for athletes to kind of create their own schedule, use that resume if they choose to move on the pathway, past the pathway into the next. All right. So this is kind of this is the personal tool. So this is my profile. We have a self-assessment tool to help. So asking a few questions of the golfer when they log in to help them determine what level of the pathway they're on. And of course, that's just a suggestion. So with that, they can then find resources. So you'll see here, I've added Ryan Robillard as my coach. I went through and I found him, and then my tournaments as well. So I was able to find both tournaments and a coach. So we'll get through that. Sorry, clicking. There we go. So the find a coach tool is really important. So I've just screen grabbed this off our website. I searched for coaches that have practice facilities and technology near Mississauga, and these coaches have come up. So I'll take you through the coach tool in a minute here, but this is an option for an athlete to find coaches within their level. So, when they go through that self-assessment tool, and if they're at the emerging level, they're going to know that they're looking for a coach, that offers both camps, clinics, maybe some individual instruction. They may not need technology at that point. So the athlete can put in and find coaches, and any coach that has those categories will show up here. We also are recognizing our PGA of Canada professionals with a little tab here. So again, we're showing all the options for the athlete, but then the athlete can make the decision that's best for them. Same thing with our tournaments. So athletes can go in and find tournaments near them in order to, again, finding tournaments that are right for them. With our new ranking system, we have this point feature. So they can search for, a one-day tournament at a certain number of points, or if they're looking to compete at maybe an Ontario Junior, they can find that. They can find the appropriate qualifiers near them. And these will all link directly to their respective website for registration. They can also save it to their profile for later, build their own schedule, and all that jazz. So for what we're hoping from the group on here today, making sure if you're a coach, you're registered on here so that we can promote your coaches, your everyone in the pathway, promote kids coming there to your facility. If you're an owner or an operator, encouraging your coaches to make sure that they're on here, again, so you can show the programs that are offered at your facility. Tag Junior Golf Pathway in your social posts, and we will make sure that we're retweeting, reposting, liking, sharing, all that jazz on there. So yeah, so I'm just going to go quickly into this coach tool. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Let me just. Apologies, let me reshare my screen here. All right, so this is the website. This is where we've housed all the information. So juniorgolfpathway.ca. You can go around, have a gander on it. So golfer resources, this is where we're going to highlight our athletes competing, doing well, doing different things. You know, both athletes competing and also resources as they come available. So obviously through COVID, there's been a ton of great content in terms of, you know, different professionals and coaches posting things online of different, you know, at-home training you can do. And this is where we can house all that information. So as we, you know, last week an Ontario athlete won their conference title. So we're able to highlight all these things here. The Find a Coach tool. So again, this Find a Coach tool where you can type in, you know, where you are, list of expertises in terms of what you're looking for in that coach, where, and then all the coaches relating to that will come up. So from the back end, it's just a very simple tool. Fill it out, name, email, contact information. For coaches, the ability to add multiple facilities so that they'll show up on the map in multiple places. And then all these little tools here relate down to the tags that will then come up on that search tool. Our tours. So these are all of our junior tours in Ontario. Most of the schedules are also on the tournament page. However, some are still in the works of, you know, finalizing their schedule. And once they are finalized, they will be on there too, but directly to their, you can go directly to their website. You can register for events. You can see a little bit of, you can see a little bit about each of the tours, what they're offering, and that kind of thing. Tournament page, same thing. You know, this is just filtered by date at the moment, but you can filter by date, you can filter by tour, you can filter by point level, depending on what that athlete is looking for, and by date. Our ranking page, so we've improved our junior golf rankings this year in order to better capture what's happening in Ontario, promote development, and at the same time, a partnership with the AJGA. So the AJGA is, you know, kind of the PGA Tour of junior golf. So Ontario athletes will actually have the ability to earn AJGA rankings through Ontario, which will be great for Ontario, promoting our athletes to stay here, compete at home, get good, learn how to win, and then go on to the next level. And then the profile tool again. So that's kind of the walkthrough of the junior golf pathway, of the website, of how we got there. Peter, I don't know where you went on my screen. I just wanted to see if you had anything to add, and then we can go on and I can answer some questions.
Yeah, I'm still here, Jessie.
Okay.
I'm not sure what more I could add that you haven't gone through already. That's a great overview. I mean, this has been a great process. Canada has been one of the leaders in athlete development pathways for years, you know, since the long-term athlete development program and other versions. But this is really at a higher, more focused, more concentrated level. This has been a great process. You know, as Jessie said, started a couple of years ago with interviews, talking to athletes, you know, players and parents and coaches and tour operators, and then focus groups, and then a workshop on actually no focus groups, but a workshop with a group of people to start to design that framework, to start to design all the pieces, the software element. It's you know, this is something that a provincial organization in Canada, I can't think of another one, and I've worked with over 100 provincial sport organizations in Canada over the last couple of years. I can't think of any that have this, and I can't think of many national sport organizations that have this. This is it's outstanding. And you know, and it's not just this. One of the things that Jessie and I have been working on, it's not just the content of this program, the content of the pathway, the content of the software, but it's also just how to launch it, how to keep it going, how to get feedback, how to tweak it, you know, because it won't be perfect from day one. And so we've got a process to keep getting feedback and keep upgrading it and making it. It's really the envy of pretty much every PSO in PTSO in Canada. It's amazing. So well done, Jessie, and well done Golf Ontario.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, I think one thing is we want to, use this to guide our junior golf development. So, some of the things that came out in the pathway don't exist, but it wasn't looking at what is out there and putting it into where it can fit. It's thinking of what does junior golf in Ontario need? And then if there's a gap, the ability for a junior tour to go in and fill that gap, or the ability for Golf Ontario to create a talent ID initiative that helps recognize athletes at a lower level, or not a lower level, but a more developing level before they get to, that Team Ontario. So there's more concrete stepping stones and the ability to know where to go, how to get there. And again, like Peter said, this is, kind of phase one of the launch. And, the part of the tool that we want to really increase is make this a tool for athletes. So on the launch, this is a resource tool with coaches and academies and tours. But going forward, one of the kind of the phase two of this development will be that player profile tool. So the ability to, go in their profile, all their results are there, their tournaments are there, which will be there, but the more editable version for them, they can upload a swing video, they can really make it house their development. If they choose to go on later to NCAA or on OUA Golf, they would have that ability to send that directly to coaches as opposed to having to make multiple platforms and multiple resumes. It'll all be there for them, all their things, and they can just send that out. Yeah, so I'll open up any questions, comments, concerns, and myself and Peter can answer them.
It's got to be something. Nothing.
I just got one comment privately here that it's been a tool to help get people on the same page, answer the same questions to parents, and fit everyone into a larger plan. So I think that's great. Yeah, I think, one of the things, I mentioned earlier that Mike Kelly's example of 10 parents going into 10 pro shops and getting 10 answers, we really want this to be the answer. So when someone comes into your pro shop or asks you, how do I get into junior golf? We'll go to juniorgolfpathway.ca, fill out that self-assessment tool. That self-assessment tool will tell you what you should be looking for in a coach and what you should be looking for in a competitive opportunity. It's been great, even just on my own, we get a lot of questions here. I've got a kid who's 10 and he's played, he can break 100 and he wants to play a tournament. What do I do? Normally there's, 17 questions. Where do you live? What's his handicap? Does he play alone? Blah, 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 to find that answer. And now it's great to just be able to send that athlete and that parent here. I mean, it's only been 2 weeks, but the first time someone called and asked that question, I got really excited because I got to just say, go to juniorgolfpathway.ca. So yeah, the ability to just send all of our athletes to the same place and give them the same information. And again, everyone's on a different path, a different journey, has different goals, but they can all, choose those based on information that's available to everyone. At what point should a junior sign up for Junior Golf Pathway? Once they have just started? Or yeah, I think that, once, even if they've just started, they may not be at the point where they're ready to have a competition. Again, this pathway is kind of assuming that you've played some golf and you're ready for competition. But at the same time, if you want to, we all want to see what's out there. We all have aspirations at next level. So if you're just getting into the game and you're in a clinic and, sign up and see that, what, I'm not quite ready for a tournament yet, but this is what I need to do to be ready. I should probably be breaking 100, maybe some of the time. I've established a handicap index with Golf Canada. I have played 18 holes of golf, or I haven't played 18 holes of golf. There's numerous 9-hole options for competitions out there, but just seeing what is out there to be ready to competition. I think that's one of the questions we get a lot is my kid ready to compete? And you don't necessarily know that until you try. But there's some guidance here on what should be available to try. So I would encourage everyone to go on there. We ran the first 2 weeks, we ran a webinar series for all junior golfers. So it was highlighted by Jiwon Jian, who is an LPGA player, played for Alabama. We had a college recruiter on there, we had Amy Roberts from PGA Tour Canada, and then we had Mark Sakino last week. So we're trying to create opportunities for all golfers. You know, if you've never played golf before, that's still pretty cool to hear from someone who never played competitive golf, hear from someone that's just back off commentating the Masters or plays on tour. And just, I mean, I was inspired hearing Jiwon speak, so I can imagine how it would be to a new junior golfer. That answer the question. Any other questions for us? That's okay. I think the other thing too is we work, you know, this is, we've got Emily from Golf Canada on here too, you know, preparing them for the next level. That next level could be the national team. So again, you know, preparing golfers for whatever that next step is. We're not trying to, I mean, we'd love to create, you know, 100 Corey Connorses and Brooke Hendersons, but the point of that is not for this. It's to help those people who want that to be their goal to be able to know how to reach it. And if your goal is to play and win your club championship, the resource for that too. What a new coach can provide. Yeah, so Andy, if you go on to that, you know, juniorgolfpathway.ca in the coach page, there's a register here as a coach. And I'll just share the screen again here. Just going through, and it's just a checkbox. So just click everything that you offer at your facility. So if you click summer camps, weekly clinics, on-course coaching, it'll just autofill those tabs so that when you're on this coach page, you'll be searchable. I would encourage you to add, you know, a little bit of your player highlights. You know, what athletes have you coached, helped develop? What are your certifications and your achievements? So just as a little bit of extra, but again, just providing kind of the basics of what you're offering that are related to the pathway and what is kind of consistent of being offered. And then this is the opportunity for you to kind of highlight yourself and what makes you special, and what makes, you know, your opportunities to sell the athlete. And then it it allows the athlete to make the decision that's best for them with you know, all this stuff that is directly from the pathway. I think the other thing with that I'm excited about in terms of, you know, kind of the smaller area, or not smaller areas, but the non-central areas such as Thunder Bay or the NGA or the OVGA, and, you know, really being able to highlight and provide those athletes the same opportunities that they have. So these are the competitions that are near you. Obviously, at some point, we all have to travel to go to an Ontario Junior or an Ontario Am, but, you know, making sure that no one's traveling before they should. Here's the opportunities near you. Here's what you should be playing. You know, I was talking to, or I've got to talk to Hank about getting your junior schedule on there too, so that again, athletes don't think that they need to leave Thunder Bay until they're ready. I think that's super important. You know, that's a misconception out there that people need to travel. And I think that goes all the way up to our AJGA partnership, you know, making sure that athletes aren't traveling before they're ready, and that they are, you know, when they are traveling, they're having success. They're not going because they feel they need to and then kind of floundering. So that is one of the things that's very exciting.
Thank you, Jessie.